Hey everyone, Knowledge here with Reach Your Summit. Been getting a few questions lately asking about certain pieces of gear that I've had featured on this channel. So this is around the time of year when I usually put together an update video going over the gear that I've been using throughout the year. What better time than now to put together my video for 2023. I'll touch base on the gear that some of you have been asking about, and also share some info on some of the other gear, clothing, and footwear that I've been using on the trail for 2023. All right, so as you can see, it looks a little eerie around me, and that's because we have yet another tropical storm coming tomorrow. So everything is starting to move in. We've had a very, very wet summer and beginning of fall here in the Northeast. Currently this year, I think we're sitting at 16 or 17 inches above what the normal average is here in the Northeast. Been very wet, very stormy, very buggy, but we have had a few breaks in the weather, and I've had some really nice trips on the Appalachian Trail and also out in the White Mountains. I'm actually just getting back from a few days up in the Whites, and the foliage is looking spectacular up there. So a lot of this gear I've been using on long distance trails like the Appalachian Trail, the New England Trail, and the Long Trail. I've been here a lot in the Northeast this year, and I have been out in some pretty intense weather, and a lot of this gear has held up really well. So let's get into it. I'm not going to get into too great of detail with a lot of this. Some of this gear was featured on this channel in the past, and I went into more detail in those videos on that gear. So I'll put links in the description for this video going over the items that I'm going to talk about in this video. So you can circle back and go check those out at some point whenever you get a chance if you'd like to. We do have some rain coming down right now. Might have to put the tarp up, but I'm hoping to hold off on doing that and just be out in the open here. We'll see how that goes. So kicking things off, a lot of you know that I'm a big fan of Polartec Alpha. I've been really happy with its performance over the last few years that I've been using it, and the Senchi Designs Ren is one of my favorite fleeces out there. It's been a game changer for me, and this year Senchi Designs released the Ren, which is a Polartec Alpha Direct 60 with a half zipper. So when I haven't been wearing the Ren pullover, I've been wearing the Ren with a half zip, and I've been really happy with this. Great warmth, dries very fast. I love the zipper because it gives me the additional breathability that I might want. And I've used this in a range of temperatures. So far around 17 degrees Fahrenheit to about 72 degrees Fahrenheit. So it has a wide range of temperature that I've been comfortable in with it. I've used this as part of my sleep system on the trail. It did end up getting its first battle wound now over this last trip in the Sandwich Range in New Hampshire in the White Mountains. So I'm gonna end up sewing that together when I get back home. Aside from that, I haven't had any durability issues with this. Been really happy with it, and I look forward to using this a lot more on future trips along with my pullover. And yeah, overall just been really happy with this. I was looking for something that was a little bit warmer and a little closer to my Old Navy fleece that I featured in past videos on this channel. I also featured it at the end of my Senchi Designs Ren video on the channel. And many of you know that I've been a big fan of Palante packs. So I was really intrigued with some of their clothing, and I ended up picking up their fleece. So I don't have a full video up of this fleece, but I do have a video short on my channel going over the sizing and fit. This is a Microgrid polyester fleece. This fabric feels nice and smooth and soft. very comfortable, and I've worn this quite a bit lately. I've been really happy with the performance of this fleece too. It's going to be a little bit more durable than any Polartec Alpha. Doesn't matter what brand is using the Polartec Alpha, durability is not its strong suit. You do have to be a little bit more careful with it. So this gives me a little bit more durability, a little bit more of a wind block, but it still breathes pretty well. It dries very fast. Also has a really nice long half zip, a kangaroo style pocket in the front, which is elevated, so if I'm wearing a pack with a hip belt, I can still access things without having to unbuckle the pack. And it also has thumb holes. Been really happy with this fleece. The one thing that I wish that it had was some toggles or some cinch cord around the hood, just so I can cinch it down a little tighter. The hood on the Senchi designs fleeces, they sit really close to my head, almost like a balaclava, and the Plante one does that to a certain extent, but it doesn't cinch down really tight. So if the wind is picking up, it can blow into this a little bit more than something that might be a little closer to the skin, but that's a very minor gripe. Been really happy with this. It's very comfortable. I've worn this on backpacking trips. I've also worn this on day hikes, and I've been really happy with the purchase so far. So I look forward to continuing to use this when I'm not using Polartec Alpha fleece. And this is a nice replacement to my Old Navy fleece that I had in the past. Going off of clothing, let me get into footwear now and kick things off for footwear with the Ultra Lone Peak 7. Many of you that have seen my videos or follow my channel or have been out on the trails with me know that Ultra is my brand of choice. I know footwear is going to be super subjective, but their footwear just works really well for me, feels very comfortable, and the Lone Peak has been my go-to for several years now. So the Lone Peak 7, I'm still not 100% with this shoe. I do really like the extra cup and the heel support. I have noticed the shoe being a little bit more stable and a little bit more locked in with my foot, but the shoe does also feel a little bit longer and narrower than previous versions. My foot does tend to run a little bit warmer with the change in the upper with this new shoe, and I did have a little bit of delamination along the top here, so I just ended up using some Aqua Seal to glue that on and prevent it from progressing. Traction has been excellent with this shoe. It's held up really well up in the whites and on backpacking trips where I've used it. I have around 320 miles with this shoe, and I am going to continue using them, but I still much rather prefer the Lone Peak 6. And I've been wearing these a lot more on my backpacking trips and long hikes this year. I was lucky enough to be able to find one more pair in my size. So I do have one on reserve in the box, ready to go when these wear out. And I'm going to be very sad once the Lone Peak 6s are done in my rotation. Currently sitting at 500 miles with the Lone Peak 6, my second pair. My other pair that I had featured, I ended up getting around 800 miles with that shoe. It was excellent, and this one is continuing to show me the same. It does not have as much of a heel lock as the Lone Peak 7, but I like having a little bit more room, which I find I get with this Lone Peak 6. I like having the drain ports. That's something that was removed in the Lone Peak 7. Your feet are going to get wet in non-waterproof shoes, whether you're walking through wet grasses or water. So I find that this does help the shoe release a little bit more water inside of it and dry a little bit faster than the Lone Peak 7. Traction is subpar compared to the update with the Max Track, but it still works really well in most conditions. I really love the ground feel of these shoes, and I'm going to continue using these, use the other pair of Lone Peak 6s I have once these wear out, and continue using the Lone Peak 7s. The other shoe that I've been using quite a bit this year is the Altra Olympus 5. So this I've used a lot up in New Hampshire. Use this on the AT. I mainly wear this when my goal is doing long, high mileage days. I do find that I get a little bit more relief in my feet with this shoe when I am pushing big miles. Not to say that I can't do long miles in these. I'll still do 25 to 30 mile days with the Lone Peaks, but I do feel a little more refreshed at the end of a long day when I'm wearing these. Do lose a little bit of the ground feel, which is what I prefer, and that's why I really enjoy the Lone Peaks. But the traction on the Olympus is far superior to the Max Track. These grip to almost everything. They've been holding up really well. I did end up buying another pair of the Olympus 5s, so once these wear out, I will have those to wear. I have grown to like them quite a bit. I do still slightly prefer the Olympus 4, but I have been enjoying the updates with this. The shoe dries very fast when it's wet, and overall just a really nice shoe. No issues with durability. Everything is held up really well. I'm sitting at over 500 miles with the Olympus 5 for this year, and look forward to putting many more on this shoe. Going into the gear now, one item that I wanted to give a little bit more of a chance to was a tent. So this is the Zpacks Plex Solo. I have a couple of videos on my channel going over this tent, and I've been still continuing to use tarps a lot more this year. Been continuing to use my Zpacks 7x9 tarp, which is my favorite shelter and my favorite tarp. And then I've also been using the Mountain Laurel Designs Monk tarp, which is a little bit more limited due to its size compared to the 7x9 Zpacks tarp. But I've been using this tent when I've been out with others. Also, some really buggy locations that I've been in. This has been really nice just to have a little bit more livable space inside than laying down inside of a bivvy at night. So I modified this and I cut off the door toggles and I replaced them with magnetic door toggles, and they've been working out really well. Allows me to easily open and close the vestibule doors. Don't have to worry about fussing with the toggles. That's something that I've been really enjoying, is the modification that I made to this tent. Held up really well in heavy downpours, in strong winds. Had this up to 45-mile-an-hour wind gusts so far, 35 to 40-mile-an-hour winds, and it's held up really well. Granted, your campsite selection does influence that as well, but I've been really enjoying this tent. I love how simple it is to set up. I love the amount of room that I have inside of it. I'm able to store all of my gear inside of it with me. I haven't had any issues with durability with this yet. Really happy with this. This is going to be my go-to when I'm not using a tarp, and I am now up to around 52 nights with the Zpacks Plex Solo tent, just because I prefer using a tarp most of the time. Another piece of gear that I featured on the channel is the Nitecore NU25 UL. I have a comparison video on the channel going over this headlamp and the previous version. I still prefer the previous version. I have been using this quite a bit just to give it a chance. I do like some of the features with it. I like the different light settings that I have with the older model. I like having the 1 lumen red setting, a little less bulky, and overall I just have been really enjoying that one a little bit more than this. But I have also been using a different light source on many of my trips and nights out on the trail this year, and that has been the RovyVon Aurora A5X. This is quickly becoming my go-to over my Nitecore NU25 headlamp. I love that I can just put the light down a lot lower and cast shadows a lot better on rocks and when I'm moving on the trail around camp. This is great. It works really nice as a lantern, and this has a lot of different settings. Also has a red LED, so I can look at my maps at night or read a book at night if I have a book with me. The UV feature has been really nice too. It allows me to find it a lot quicker and easier at night. I find it to last a long time, and it's USB rechargeable, so been really happy with this. Going to be continuing to use this more than my headlamps, and using my headlamps on other occasions. Next up is a sleeping pad. So this is the Thermarest NeoAir Xlite NXT. I had mentioned this on my Narragansett Trail through hike earlier this year. Most of the time, if I can, I'll just use my Gossamer Gear 1/8 inch thin light pad as my sleeping pad and just have really good campsite selection. And I find that by using duff, pine needles, leaves, grasses, I'm able to get a good night's sleep just by using that pad, and then I don't have to worry about inflating it. But I wanted to give this new NeoAir Xlite pad a chance. Been really happy with the Xtherm and Uberlite that I've been using, and the older Xlite I've been using quite a bit in the past, and I've been really happy with this pad. I went with the regular wide for this, so I'm not having my arms hanging off the edges. Been really happy with it. The wing lock valve has been great, no durability issues. It's definitely quieter than the previous versions of this pad. It is a little bit more comfortable with the extra thickness to it compared to the previous one. At least I find it to be that way. Very warm. I've used this down to close to 0 degrees Fahrenheit, and I've been pretty comfortable with it. But overall, really happy. Going to continue using this when I'm not using my thin light, and then once we get into really deep winter and lots of snow on the ground, I'll either double this up with the thin light pad, or I'll just switch completely to the NeoAir Xtherm pad that I have and use mostly for winter backpacking. And the last items that I want to go over very quickly in this video are packs. So earlier this year, I put together a video going over a completely new company that I had been using. Many of you know that I've been using Palante packs over the years, and I've been very happy with their packs. But I had a lot of friends that were sharing a lot of great feedback with me, and I was really intrigued with the features. So I ended up picking up a couple of packs by Nashville Packs. So on this channel, I have a video going over the Cutaway and the Tiempo. And with that video, the Cutaway that I had featured was a 16-inch torso length. My torso is right around 19 inches. So once I saw Nashville Pack offering the Cutaway an 18-inch torso, and also releasing a whole bunch of fabrics and colors and options and features, I had to jump on that. So I ended up going with an 18-inch Cutaway with the Ultraweave in dark chili red, white bottle pockets, and a teal bottom pocket. So I've been really happy with this pack. Aside from the difference in torso length, not much has changed really as far as what I also mentioned in that video. This continues to be one of the most comfortable packs that I wear. I love all the quick, easy access, all of the pockets on the outside with the shoulder straps. The straps are some of the most comfortable that I've worn with a backpack. This top shelf pocket has been excellent with quick, easy access to slightly larger items that I might not want to have in the front, but that I might still want to get at without having to dig through my whole pack. And also having that easy access to the whole outer pocket. Bottom pocket's been really nice with having easy access to snacks and being able to access it with both hands. Sitting at around 70 miles with this current Cutaway that I have compared to the previous ones that I had featured in the video. And I'm going to continue to use this on certain hikes and trips. Really happy with the performance of this pack, and I look forward to continuing to use this. And Palante did end up releasing the Joey this year, which has been my favorite pack for the last couple of years. They released it in Ultra 200. So I had to jump on that. I've been really happy with Ultra fabric over the years, so I had to get my favorite pack in a material that I've been really happy with. And I've been using this on many backpacking trips and lots of 4,000 footers in New Hampshire's White Mountains. Not much has changed with this, as I mentioned in one of my other videos. The only thing that's really changed is you get a reflective cordage here now with a cinch cord for the top. Still getting all of the Ultra mesh for the bottle pockets, bottom pocket, outer pocket, shoulder strap pockets, but I've been really happy with this. Still continue to use my older Robic nylon one, the V2 and the V3 with the eggplant purple and powder blue. Along with this, I've also been using my Palante Ultralight quite a bit on backpacking trips. I also have the desert pack and the side bag that I've been using quite a bit, and I've also been wearing my V2 Simple Pack, which is made out of the Ultra 200 and the white fabric. Still haven't had any issues with delamination with that. I have well over 1,500 miles with that pack, been holding up really well. This Joey, I'm only sitting at around 200 miles with it so far. Find this pack to be very comfortable, and the other Palantes to be very comfortable too. So there you have it. There's some of the gear that I've been using throughout 2023. If you have any questions on any of this gear that I went over, feel free to leave them in a comment below. Be happy to help you out and answer any questions that you have. If any of you have been using any of this gear, also please share your experiences with it in a comment below. I'd love to see how things are working out for you. And along with any comments, you can always contact me at reachyoursummit.net. I hope this helped answer your questions a little bit and give you a little bit more of a closer look at how things have been working out for me this year and how things have been holding up. I have a lot more exciting content coming up, so feel free to subscribe to this channel. Hit the like button if you like this video. Again, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Greatly appreciate all of you. And until the next one, see you on the trail.